presentation?
Probably.
Yeah, that is what I want. I want
Right, sir.
each one of you to take some subject like that, start
Okay.
discussing it, so that when you teach something, that will become, you will become very, very good in that subject.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Correct?
Yes, yes, yes. Right.
Yeah, that is what we want.
Okay, sir.
We want all of you to one by one. Suppose you do like that, somebody else will do something else.
Okay.
All will get exposed to many subjects parallelly, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. That is our idea.
Okay.
Uma Madhuri. Where are you from? Uma Madhuri.
Hello sir, I am from Andhra Pradesh,
From where?
Chittoor district.
Where is Chittoor district?
In border, like in between Tamil Nadu and Andhra, we are in the border, sir.
So, you speak Tamil?
I can understand, but I can't speak that fluently.
What do you study?
I am currently an engineer graduate. I just graduated, and I'm looking for my call letter yet, sir.
What are you looking for?
For my call letter.
On what?
I've been placed in Infosys in my placements, and I am still waiting.
So, every day you will wait. You are not doing anything else.
Apart from that, I am doing some online courses.
What are you studying online?
I'm actually learning machine learning, and I'm also doing a course on climate change.
What is machine learning?
So machine learning is a AI technology. It's based on the intelligence, and the other version, the deeper version of machine learning is deep learning.
What is deep learning?
So deep learning basically works with neural networks and stuff. Machine learning works with algorithms.
Okay. What is climate change you are learning?
So basically, my interest got into climate change recently due to this environment pollution and stuff. I just want to know what is climate change and how it is a global issue and all. I'm just still learning what is it and what are its causes and stuff.
You had a paper, no?
Sir?
You had a paper in your BTech environment
regarding,
science.
Yeah, sir, we had a paper.
Okay, that was interesting.
So that was, as it was a part of curriculum, they didn't teach us in a way so that the interest acquires. It's just like we listen to it and we write exams.
Okay, so you can look at all environment science BTech or send me a WhatsApp. My lecture PowerPoint presentations may be there on the one of my blog.
Sure, sir. That would be great. Yeah.
I taught in engineering college environment science.
Oh, that is awesome. Okay, sure, sir. I'll look into it.
So how do you know me?
So I have already consulted you, sir, once, and regarding this IAS coaching and all, I have consulted you before. I think you don't remember me.
I remember, but you didn't tell that. That is why I asked you.
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
I remember Uma Madhuri.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember what you consulted. But then now you are telling something else. So I thought, let me enjoy that.
No, sir. I just consulted you, but I'm not toughly working on it. So what is the whole purpose of telling it? I haven't told you.
So I actually did not help you, or I helped you by taking you away from that.
Yeah, sir. You helped me in such a way, like you take the time and you give it a tough thing. Yeah, thanks.
I was wondering why you are not mentioning that.
forget that thing so that I didn't mention.
I am not that old. Uma also referred to some of your friend, and your friend also spoke to me.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I just got to know your memory power. Thank you, sir.
What happened to our man who posted? He forgot or what?
Sir, I am here.
Yeah. So, don't you have PowerPoint to present?
No, sir, I don't have. I just have.
Eh?
I only have questions.
You only said you will present, no?
No, sir, I could not create it.
Okay. Then we will start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the first question was the idea of consciousness in spirituality and its acceptance by modern times.
See, that's a very specific question, and I am so happy. Idea of consciousness in spirituality and its acceptance in modern physics. I don't think modern physics is studying consciousness anyway. Modern physics have nothing to do with spirituality. Right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
we know modern physics basic structure is based on the waves.
Okay.
Electromagnetic wave. Electrical is on one direction, magnetism is in the 90 degree to that. Assume you have a magnet, north pole and south pole, you put a coil around it. That means it is at every coil means at every point your tangential is exactly 90 degree. And when you move the magnet, definitely it induces an electricity, or you give electricity to this coil, it induces magnetism inside in the vertical direction.
Oh, yes.
So, electromagnetic energy is a potential energy which is the basic energy in anything. Life force, my life, that is also electromagnetic energy.
Yes.
Any living object has got an electromagnetic energy. My cell, inside that there is an atom. Inside the atom there is a neutron and proton. Electron goes around the nucleus. That means the electrical charge is moving around a positive charge, and therefore there has to be an electric potential. That electric potential has a very specific frequency, and that frequency is understood by nature when it is in the living cell. We call it as life force energy. So life force energy in its minute subtle form is electromagnetic energy. So any energy is electromagnetic. That way there is a relationship between what is consciousness in spirituality and its acceptance by modern physics, because everybody understands every energy is that. But the consciousness in the cell is not well accepted by biologists. It is not physics. Mostly it should go to biology, nanotechnology, microbiology,
Yes.
DNA pattern when you learn.
Right.
All of them talk about DNA is a matter. They talk about the protein is being transmitted from one to another place, RNA, DNA, so many technical words you will hear. But if you ask a question, who asked you to do this job to DNA, RNA, cell, proton, electron, neutron, protein? No question.
Yes.
That is where Indian spirituality, not any other spirituality in anywhere in the world. Only Indian spirituality called, it is all done because there is a consciousness.
Right.
So there is a consciousness in our cell. There is a consciousness when the cell is in some specific place it has got a feeling, oh, I am a cell inside my eyes, therefore let me work for seeing.
Okay.
My cell in my ear knows that this is a sound which I am supposed to look at. I am not as a visible region 0.4 to 0.7 is not my spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum is only the sound wave.
Okay.
Let me send that circulate the wave information to the brain. So each cell, because of its position where is in our body, it acts in a very specific style.
Yes, yes.
How is it done? I am now explaining you something, therefore I am pretending that it's a pretension. I am acting like a teacher.
Okay.
But when I go to my teacher, my guru, I will become a student.
Right.
So that behavior which I have, that style in which I pretend, that style in which I act is called conscious.
Okay.
Assume you are a student and in school you don't behave like a student. Immediately what the teacher will say? Senseless fellow. Because you don't have sense. That sense is called consciousness.
Okay.
So each cell in my body has a consciousness. It is told in Upanishads. Ena chakshusha pashyanti, ena chakshumshi pashyati. The cell in my eye do not have eyes, but it can take signals and send it to the brain, act like an eye. And it is true for every indriya. It is not a chakshu alone. I don't know the whole mantra, only little bit I learned. My chakshu, whatever cell in the eye, knows how to behave like ena chakshushana pashyanti, ena chakshunshi pashyatihi. Strotrana, whatever is to be heard, it understands it is to be heard. It will not misbehave. Assume behave your cell in your eye started seeing, and your cell in your eye eyes will start smelling. What will happen?
Okay.
Your cell in your tongue has to behave right way, right? And understand, when there is a cut in your body,
Okay.
there is a wound, blood will come. Immediately, what will happen? My body will say, there is a cut, start paining.
Yes.
If there is no pain, other cell in my body will not get a message saying you have to go and stitch it.
Yes.
One day I was using a knife and the knife went from this side of my hand and it came out through this. Even now there is a small mark. It just pierced inside my hands.
Okay.
But then I did not go to doctor. What I did was, I was holding it tight like this, and then I told myself, yeah, it's really paining. Pain is very good. That means internally there is a message saying that there is something happened. The war, all the soldiers, the cell soldiers will go. You know what do? Any cut in your body, if you look at next day, you will see a small gum.
Yes. Clotting.
Yeah, who created that gum? The cell itself. Many cell will commit suicide for making that gum.
Okay.
Only thing what you should do is you must hold it very tight.
Okay.
Because it may get separated, then you see some wound, if it is not stitched, what will happen? It will stay apart, and in between you can see the gum. And after some time it will become a wound, there will be a mark. But if you keep it very close, to keep it them close, what the modern doctors will do, they stitch it.
Yes.
Actually stitching is not a cure, no medicine at all.
Okay.
The stitching is actually done by the cells, but to make it a markless, scarless, without any damage, if it has to do faster, you must keep those cells closer so that it has to do less job.
Yes.
Actually the cementing job is done by the cell which has a consciousness. in your body never would have come such a wound.
Okay.
No time the cell would have done such a job. But when there is pain, the cell knows it is my job now to stitch. When we get some job, we will say, no, I don't know, I never did it, I don't know how to do it. Actually, if our cell keep telling us, I don't know how to do it, I never did it, no wound will get cured.
Yes.
So who is making this wound to do like this? Who is telling this cell, this is your job to do it? That is pain.
Right.
Suppose you have no pain in your body, the wound will not get cured. Leprosy patients, they don't have pain.
Okay.
The cure will not happen. Therefore, the wound is open all the time.
Yeah.
So, it is a beautiful concept. That is consciousness for each cell. It is in our body when consciousness, it is more applicable in biological sciences. The DNA pattern behaves in this style, but there is a consciousness which says this is how you must send a protein. When there is a medicine goes inside, this is what you should do it, you should not do like this. This is how you should give messages. The sending message like pain is a big message. It's an electric signal.
Yes.
Suppose it has to go to the brain and trigger that, no, my hand has to go and then protect me. Even before I am falling, if I am slipping, before I am falling, my hand will go and then stop my head not to hit on the floor. Who is giving this message? It is not a matter, it is the consciousness. Sometimes you don't fall, but you slip and you balance sometime. Assume that your body would have, if at all you have fallen, this part of your hand would have hit on the floor. You will see sometime this part will get pain even without falling. That is because the cell already determined that I am going to get pain. The feeling of pain is in the cell.
Okay.
You understood? So when somebody comes and tell me, sir, I have fallen, my hand is broken, my leg is broken, immediately I will say, beautiful. It is very good that your hand is broken. Because if your hand is not broken, when you have fallen, I am 100% sure your head would have hit.
Oh, okay.
When I went to Muscat in one of the school, one boy whose chin was broken and he had a plaster. So I asked him, did you had mobile in your hand while walking? He said yes. So what do you do? If you have mobile while falling, you will heap your hand up so that mobile will not get damaged. So which part of the body will hit?
Yes.
You understood? So there is a consciousness which actually helps you to do.
Yeah.
It's very easy. Understanding consciousness is part of Ayurveda. It is part of medical science. It is part of DNA pattern. So, energy level learning, it is part of modern physics. But I don't think modern physics is yet started doing research on this consciousness. Acceptance is actually there because physics is science of nature. It's called the natural science.
Yeah.
What is around us can be visualized through a subject called physics, which we can write in equations that becomes mathematics.
Okay.
Okay. So any energy, any matter related to study is called physics. That is from cosmos, the universe, Milky Way galaxy, everything is physics. And from there it comes to geography, earth. Then on earth, when you segregate and study, it becomes biology, zoology, human study, anthropology, history, civics, economics, trade. Every subject will be on the ground. But when you go inside deeper, it becomes cell biology. 10 power minus 6 biology is microbiology. 10 power minus 9 when it goes, no life. Therefore, it cannot be biology. It becomes nanotechnology. Nano is 10 power minus 9. Nanotechnology has biology, chemistry, physics, everything inside. You still go inside minus 13, it becomes atom. Minus 15, minus 17 is atom. You still go inside, you will reach into cell is not there. You get into atom. Still you go inside, you will have electron, proton, neutron. That becomes again physics. So where did we start? Cosmology. The biggest science is physics. Smallest science is also physics. In Upanishad, there is a small mantra called Yada Pindhe Tada Brahmande. Yada Pindhe Tada Brahmande. Brahmandam, the whole universe is how. The same way is Pindam. Pindam is atom. Because there is an electron going around the nucleus. In the universe, there is a sun and planets goes around it. In which speed? Orbital speed, orbital mechanism. What is called in the planetary system is orbit. What is called in the atom is also called orbit.
Yes.
Understood? So if you know orbital mechanism, if you know physics, you know the whole universe, because Yada Pindhe Tada Brahmande. See, one mantra, the whole study from atom to universe is codified and then told in one sloka in Upanishads. So now do you have a question that is it accepted by modern physics or not?
Right.
It is not modern physics you accept it. Student of physics should understand this is what it is and accept it. Yeah.
Yes.
Devasri has got.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can
Am
you?
I audible, sir?
Yeah. Can you show your face also? It will be good. I think few of you can
Yes,
come
sir.
on to video if you have no bandwidth problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir, okay, sir. Actually, I have listened somewhere that quantum physics explains spirituality. What is your take on that, sir? I would like to know your take.
I
on
think
that.
Vishnu's next question is related to that. See,
Yeah, sir.
wave theory, when you speak, the wave is always quantum. You have seen wave in the sea. Wave doesn't come linear. Wave comes sinusoidal, cos and sine function. And when you do it, it automatically, it comes in quantum. That is how quantum physics. That's how quantum physics says. There are a lot of people who disagree with the quantum physics also.
Yes,
Correct?
sir. Sir, this double slit experiment and all, they say that particle has two nature. I mean, anything has two natures. Like it exhibits particle nature and wave nature as well.
Yeah.
Are you coming to that one also in this meeting, sir?
How is it happened? Assume that there is lot of crowd in this room. And your name is Devisri, right? Devisri came to the door. And you have no place to enter inside the room. But you have a message to give to somebody else in the other corner of the room. What do?
I will shout.
You will shout. That is one. Second one, you will tell the first fellow and then tell the next fellow to next fellow and then reach there, right?
Yes.
When you switch on the tube light, light comes. What is coming? Something is coming out of the glass to your room.
No.
No, it is not able to come out of the glass. So what comes? There is a vibration. There is a frequency. And that frequency makes some vibration. That vibration will make the air just close to that to vibrate. That will communicate to the next vibration. That will communicate to the next vibration. So light is an electromagnetic energy which spreads. How does it come? You have to push something. You cannot linearly push. You will have to push at a stretch. Then wait. Next push. That is how you move things. So it has to be quantum. And then it depends on the push. That is where Einstein will come. Suppose I have less mass, I have to use big velocity. I have got big mass, small velocity. That is good enough to move. Assume Vishnu is running. Right? With full speed you are running. Okay. And there is a vehicle which was standing. The Vishnu goes and then hits. What will happen?
Then
Definitely you will get damage because you are running faster.
yes.
Now assume you are also running, the other vehicle is also running. What will happen? damage will become too much because both are moving.
Yes, yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Assume you have a small bullet coming. Bullet is very small. Why is it so powerful?
It is moving with some force, with some acceleration.
Speed. It is too fast. So if the bullet has got less weight, no problem. But the speed makes it to penetrate. That is what is called momentum.
Yeah, yeah.
Therefore, in physics, momentum is to be explained like this. If quantum physics says I have to create an impact, I have to make momentum, then only I can go. If I have to penetrate through, assume somebody has to come inside the room, there is full rush. I will have to use my momentum. Then I can go inside, right?
Yes, yes.
That is a beautiful subject. So that quantum physics is explained in many places.
Yeah.
I think Shilpa is here. The other day Shilpa was mentioning one sloka. Which is that sloka, yeah, Shilpa? Dhyayato Vishayan. Is it that?
I'm
The-
sorry, I was muted. Yeah, Ayato Vishayam Rangasteshu Bhajan.
That is in which chapter? 7th chapter?
Chapter is
2nd chapter.
not seven.
Second chapter. Yeah, second chapter is the essence of Bhagavad Gita.
It is the first sloka which Gandhi also studied.
Eh?
First sloka which Gandhiji studied in Bhagavad Gita.
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसा संगस्तेषूपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायन्ते जायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिः विभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. What happens is your energy is transmitted to the next person. This is actually Heisenberg principle, if you want. This is where Bosen's principle. Boson says if I have an energy, I can transmit. If I want to transmit, I see two things can happen. Why do Bhagavad Gita says this? I can be a unbounded person. I am not binded to anybody. Even if somebody comes and disturbs, I will not change. Have you seen atoms like this? They never make a bond. Because in the last orbit you have 8 electrons. What do? They are happy. They will not make a bond.
Yes, yes, yes.
Correct? So you are self-sufficient is what is called spiritual. Your orbit is full. I don't want to mix with anyone. That is detachment. But assume I have 1 electron less. Then what will happen? Definitely I will make a bond with somebody wherever there is an electron, right? And I don't have sufficient electron to capture. What I will do? I will get one more friend of mine who require another atom, and I will create a friendship with 1 oxygen. That's why 2 hydrogen joined with 1 oxygen.
Yeah.
You understood? Is it not in our basic life? When I don't have courage, I don't have sufficient to accept. Is it not in business?
True.
So
Very true.
physics principle is there everywhere. But I am sure your physics teacher, chemistry teacher would not have told you this. So if you understand physics perfectly, you can also understand business. You can understand trade. You can understand how chemistry works. That's why we say there is no chemistry between us. Because I don't share anything with you, you don't share anything with me. But some people create a frequency fast. Chemistry is fast. What is frequency? I am sharing my electrons. How do you get this? That is how people do. Assume I am in a high electric voltage. What will happen? My last orbit, if there is an electron, it will jump by itself. That's what is radiation. That is what is luminance. When it jumps, it will absorb electricity. When it gets electricity, it will become so powerful, electron will start jumping up. That electron jumping is what is light. I will give that electron, that chemical in which I am vibrating my electron can be mercury, it can be sodium. Based on that, the color of the jump will change, frequency will change. That's why you have got a different color of light. That's how it is created. What am I doing? In a tube light, I will put 2 diodes and then I am asking the electricity to pass through that, in which gas is kept. Based on the gas, color will change. Helium will have a different color. Mercury will have a different color. So it is jumping. The frequency will change. And when I jump, there is a glass. I cannot jump outside. Immediately that will make this outside air also to jump in same frequency. Is that not consciousness of the air? It can say, I will not jump. It will not happen. Because basically, this is what is theory of relativity. This is what Higgs told. This is what is his name? Boson. Boson told. Higgs and Bose. There are 2 people who told this, right? But can you create this was a big question. Because of this creation of this frequency, the whole universe is created. Because it started jumping. That is not mentioned in any Vedas. But there are mentioned in Upanishads. When somebody asked a question like this to the teacher, he says, somewhere, some wise people told like this. You understood? Who are those wise people? Nobody knows. So when I asked the same question to my guru, he also said. But he did not explain like this. What he explained was, Yadamogham tadam daruptam bijam ajatvaya adaschara charam vishwam yadamogham apamandaruptam bijam ajatvaya adascharacharam vishwam prabhavastasya idi giyade. Prabhavastasya, intelligent people, idi giyade, they explain like this. What do they explain? From one small object, something can jump out and then you can even create a universe. That's what it says. It is also mentioned in, I have not seen, this is my reference from my Brahmashri KPC Anjan Bhattacharya, my guru. This is where Kalidasa explained in Kumara Sambhavam. That's what he says. Right? So, we had this knowledge. But we also had a trial to regenerate it. It was a failure. Where was that? Where was that? Anybody?
Sir, what is your question, sir?
There was a Big Bang theory to prove modern science tried this. And you know what the modern science talks about this mentioned in our Upanishads, to get into that level where they can explain. You know how many Nobel Prizes would have gone into that physics subject? Nearly 35 Nobel Prizes. Now just now what we said, from atom, quarks, vibration of elements, and they got a power of telling that no, we can do such experiments. It happened in France border. And there, what did they do?
Particle.
Yeah, that's it.
Experiment.
That's what. That experiment, which was after almost 35 Nobel Prizes in physics. That's what people say. And what did they do? They vibrate, accelerate. You know, when you accelerate, you cut one electron from the hydrogen, and only proton and neutron you allow to go, and it has to pass with the speed of a light that nobody could simulate so far. but they could simulate the almost close to the speed of a light. They keep saying 30 meter per second speed less. They could not reach speed of light, little less than that. And they keep a magnetic field in such a fast it moves because of the magnetic field created. And then it collide each other, there the Big Bang will come. This is what the universe is. This is what this. How does it happen? It's all because of electromagnetic energy. It is all because of the frequency in which it moves. It's all because of the wave pattern which it has. It is all because of the quantum effect which it has. Okay, this is what is momentum. So every let it be from anybody. But maybe the latest person, Stephen Hawking, I remember talking on Asianet radio after Stephen Hawking died. Actually, he was more a spiritual man than a physics man. He has not done much of research. He was a theoretical physics man. So what he does, he says this is possible like this is possible like this. That's why it's not mostly like the physics people, when they become philosophers, what they speak becomes theoretical physics, which somebody else have to prove sometime, which needs lot of experiment which nobody can conduct. Actually, that is what our Upanishads and Vedas are. It is very difficult to conduct experiments because you need to, for small thing I told you need 35 Nobel Prizes. So maybe 300 Nobel Prizes will be required to reach close to what is told in Upanishads. And why there is a connection between the physics and this? Because traditionally Veda was full of nature, energies in nature, rules of nature. For us, Panchabhutha, all these are nature. Physics is what? Nature only. So if somebody speaks of nature, either it has to be physics or it has to be Veda. New people, whatever they spoke, it becomes Veda. Traditionally what we spoke, it became Veda. New people, it became physics. That's all the difference. So one and the same. But then what happened? See, for example, I don't know who is that man who did the first experiment on nuclear thing in America, who exploded the first experiments. No. America, I don't remember his name anyway. But I remember immediately after that he justified, even if bomb has to be used for destroying your enemy, that doesn't matter because Bhagavad Gita says you have every right to destroy your enemy. Understood?
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember. Actually, I don't remember that name. So what I'm saying is, some people take, because you want to give explanation, you want to justify something wrong or right, everywhere you can quote Vedas and Indian traditional knowledge. You understood? You want to kill your uncle, immediately you can quote Krishna. Understood? So why is it that? Because everything what can happen, what could have happened, what is relation, what is enmity, what is grudge, what is envy, what is happiness, everything we have a story in our mythology. So nobody can write or invent something which is new, which is not recorded here. Therefore, we can say biology is here, physics is here, chemistry is here, mathematics is here, everything is here. But that doesn't mean we can prove everything, because many things need not be proved, first of all. And there are, I remember long back, somebody said, India invented zero, or India's contributions to the world is zero. Zero is the contribution of India to the world. You understood the difference, right? India's contribution is zero means what? You have not contributed anything. Somebody says India contributed zero. Both are correct, because you can argue in both ways. But what cannot be understood, we did not had good documentation sometime. we did not had the heritage of transferring knowledge. We did not had people who are learning. But lot of changes would have happened. Some point of time, some people started referring. So some concern is coming. So I am so happy the young people are asking this question today. There are many things which are unproved, disproved, not seen with the specific eye. Because in my childhood there were 9 planets. In present generation there is only 8 planets. Right? Bharatiya Shastram doesn't talk about 8 planets also. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all these are not part of planets. We have only 6 planets. So I am sure after some time somebody may prove that there may be planets which are not influential to us. That's our astrology. It also derived from astrophysics, astronomy. Got it? But over a period of time, many things would have diluted, many things would not have understood. Basic question, absolute, relative, nature law, apaurushaya. Apaurushaya is which cannot be explained. That is what theoretical physics people generally speak. They speak about absolute, relative, nature law, and which cannot be explained. Therefore, whatever you learn in theoretical physics can be seen mostly in non-matter. Especially matter you can identify. Non-matter, energy level, that in Bharatiya Shastram is called spiritual humanism. That spiritual humanism is modern physics as far as theoretical physics is concerned.
So is it true to say that Bharatiya Shastram only explains the absolute physics rather than the relative?
No, it is all both absolute and relative. That's why I told you. That is why I told you it is absolute, relative, natural law, nature, apaurushayam, everything is explained there.
Sir, I have listened that Gayatri Mantra has some kind of effect on our whole body. I even felt that also. I mean, after chanting that, I have found some change for chanting that for about 21 days also. Can you explain something about that, sir? I have no idea how do that affect our body. I have listened some theories, but they are not convincing. I didn't get any point.
I told you in the beginning, I was telling our body has got energy, it has got a consciousness. Every energy is what makes us to work. So any vibration will have an influence on us. So it not necessarily Gayatri or maybe some other chanting. See, when you are totally mood out, when beautiful music is good enough to get you happiness. That is why music is called a Shastram. Natyam is called a Shastram. So whatever is useful for human being. So assume same Gayatri, somebody chants not at all in a nice way. The voice is so horrible. You are totally in mood out. And the person is so angry. Will it happen effect?
No.
So it's a combination of many things. Okay. So is it 21 days, 18 days? One fraction is good enough or not? You must have attended 3 years of some course from somebody. That would not have affected you. But half an hour lecture will affect you. So it doesn't matter how many times you repeat. That is all prescribed for common people. Understood? So everything around us have got an influence, either good or bad. Because it's also energy. We are also life force energy. And some mantras, because it has got, it's all called Geetam. Geetam is which can be sung nicely, right? So it has got a rhythm. It has got a layam. It has got a talam. So it has got a very specific way of smoothing, soothing, giving cool, calm effect in your body. Naturally for everybody. So it's all vibration. It's all electromagnetic energy. It's all frequency. It's all waves. Music is also a wave. Got it? Maybe we have a lot of people who knows music. They can explain it much better. I remember giving a lecture in, which is the oldest music college in Kerala, probably in South India. Swati Tirunal Sangeeta College. I gave at least 3 hours of lecture, 2 times. One on a dance conference, national conference, another on a music dance national conference, in which I showed how music influences your energy. That was one of my invited talk. If you learn electromagnetic energy, you can work in many fields because that's the basics. And that frequency level in which you create the ragam is categorized in different ragas. Suppose you say Melakarta Ragam, Dheera Shankarabaranam. That means it has got a very specific vibration. So it's like medicine given to many people. So some people like one raga, somebody doesn't like some other raga. And everybody cannot understand raga because you are not like doctors only understand different medicines. Everybody cannot understand every ragas. So it needs to be a doctor who knows how to prescribe different medicine. For us, everything look like a white capsule in a homeopathy shop, right? But the doctors knows which is the medicine to be used. So traditionally we had different ragas which were generating different frequency, different wavelength, and they can do wonders in different levels. So that is where one frequency to another frequency you can match. Sometimes you can have coherence, sometimes you can have harmony. So when you listen to some song, you get harmony. Oh, you feel it is very good. For something it may not, because your wave will not match with the other wave. So I think Vishnu's question, the chanting. So you asked Om chanting. Maybe anything. So I made it general. Either it is Om or Gayatri Mantra or Mrityunjaya Mantra. It all matters. How do you chant? How do you get the frequency matched to that? That is what matters. Om has got a very specific sound and it is called the Pranavam. It is called the single letter best mantra. That is because there are people who did experiments of keeping a big funnel on top of the sky. That means beyond atmosphere it should go. Maybe 200 kilometers is atmosphere. You cannot put a funnel above that. But if you record the sound what comes out of it, you will see it's almost like a Om chanting. That's what people say. Or maybe the sound in the universe. I am sure the lot of planets are moving around in the cosmos. You have got electrons going around a neutron. Definitely when something moves, there will be an energy transfer, there will be a travel. Whenever there is a travel, there has to be, it is all frictionless, but you can have a small iota of friction. That can also generate a small sound. Assume you take a rope, tie one metal ball and start rotating it. I am sure it will make a sound. If you listen to that carefully, you know that is again like Om, right? So that is why probably it is called the Pranava Mantra, because people would have heard this unique sound which can, if you take a bell and then hammer on that, it will create a sound. If you beat on that also, it will create a sound. You take a small burthen and then rotate. I remember the last year almost this time I gave a lecture in the church. He was keeping a brass vessel and then stick. He just make a sound, just hit. It created a echo around because it's an air conditioned room. Beautiful echo was there and that became an Om sound. Got it? So that is the basic vibration. It's all electromagnetic vibration. That electromagnetic vibration in a specific frequency, when it reaches our ear, it creates a sound. because it has to hit somewhere, then only it becomes sound, right? Electromagnetic wave has got a different wavelength. That wavelength variation is creating different sound. Electromagnetic wave in different wavelength is what is creating 0.4 to 0.7 VIBGYOR, different colors. When the wavelength is different, it becomes maybe microwave, it becomes radio wave, it becomes gamma, it becomes theta wave. So different wave patterns. So it all depends on the wavelength. And that explains, I think, Vishnu's second question, the quantum physics relationship, because everything is wave. The string theory is also same, right? What is string theory, Vishnu? Frequency, right? No, your sound is not coming again.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you separate it? String theory.
What is string theory? As you know, you tell me what is string theory.
As far as it is the basic fundamental, some frequency.
Yeah, that is what so far I said. It's all fundamentally the basic frequency which vibrates in a very specific level is called string theory.
Yeah. I got some statement that these basic hymns are actually set fundamental frequency. So that
See, actually, what assume that if you want to say string theory, the dimension changes when it moves in a direction. So, I don't know how many of you understand topology. Topology is a beautiful subject. I will show you a small trick with the topology that will explain how can you change the dimension by changing its way of tilting. Waves is what it makes things to tilt in a different structure, different style. Wave pattern is always like goes up and down. It has got a very specific curvature. Now this is a small paper. How many surface it has? One surface here, another surface. So two surface, right? Now you can all do this. Take this, join like this. So I get a circle. How many surfaces are there? One inner, one outer, right? Correct or not? You must do this at home and then make fun of people. Now I am just tilting it like this and joining it. I'll just tilt one side and join. How many surfaces is there? There is only one surface. There is only one surface. If I join like this, it becomes two surface. If I tilt it and join, it becomes one single surface. So string theory says, if you have a two-dimension thing, by twisting it in a specific style, you can penetrate, because there is only one surface, one dimensional. So you can change the dimensions also. Got it? So string theory is not a small subject, it's a very big subject. So your question is what? Can I tilt my frequency? That is what people do. They tilt the frequency. The same song, they know how to change the frequency. One raga they will tilt in a different style, change it into another raga, because it can go through somebody else to reach into somebody else. I can penetrate.
Sir, is it the concept related to wormholes or telepathy?
See, every thought process is also a frequency. Every thought process is a frequency.
Sir, through our visualization and prayer, can we control someone, or like, can we heal someone?
See, it depends on how much focus you can have. See, for example, have you seen, you stay somewhere, somebody is, you want, you cross somebody, immediately you want that person to look back, it is possible. You keep looking at somebody, you will see after some time they will look at you, because there is an energy goes there. It need not be by look, it can be by thoughts, right? For some people there is a great power, for some it has less power. These siddhi is called animadishta siddhigal. Some people had a great siddhi. Shankara had such a siddhi, so he could enter into somebody else. Why you wanted to make somebody to work? You can work in their body, their mind will go, right? Paragaya pravesham, it's called paragaya pravesham, right? Anima mahima chaiva lekhima garima tata ishitvam cha vashitvam cha prapti prakashyameva cha. That's called manimadishta siddhika. You can become big, you can become small. Anima mahima, ani is small, mahima is big. Lekhima, weightless. Garima, full weight. When Vivekananda went to Ramakrishna, he became weightless. But same Vivekananda went somewhere else, he made many people to surrender to him. Correct? Anima, mahima, lekhima, garima. Ishitvam, vashitvam. That's what. I surrender to somebody, somebody will surrender to me. These are the greatest capability. I asked a question to my guru, how Shankaracharya travelled from Kerala to Himalaya. Today we want to have a Land Cruiser, we want to take a helicopter or aeroplane. How did he go? He became weightless. See, that is why Krishna has to show his full Rupam. That's called Vishwarupam. And he also became smallest sometime. So both are possible. If somebody can do it big, you can do it less. I can influence somebody, maybe only very few, for some fraction of time. If you can do it constantly for longer time, you say, oh, he is a Siddhi Purusha. But that Siddhi is there in everyone for some point of time. I am 100% sure. You don't have to talk to somebody who is very close to you. Just look at them, they understand what you mean. Correct? One look is good enough. Because there is a frequency match. Assume some guest comes to my house. Right? And the look is good enough to say whether chai is to be served or chai not to be served. Understood? You are in a business talk. Your partner is there who knows you are totally well. Looking at, they know, oh, this fellow, we don't have to have a deal. Looking at them, we will say, yeah, we can have a deal. All that is understood without even telling. One look is good enough, right? So look can convey a lot of things.
Sir, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, what is the difference or what the modern Hinduism lags when it compares with the Vedic Hinduism, sir?
See, what is Vedic? What is Vedic Hinduism? What is modern Hinduism? There is somebody who is sitting there who is Sanatana Dharma. Correct?
Yeah.
Is it not, Shilpa? You are a proponent of Sanatana Dharma, right?
Yes, sir.
What is Sanatanam?
There is no beginning or end.
Yeah, it is Nitya Nutanam and Chirapuradhanam. The oldest of the oldest and the ultra modern. Hinduism is so powerful, it is eternal. Chirapuradhanam, oldest of the oldest. Nitya Nutanam, present day also it is applicable. That is the beauty. Therefore, it is flexible. Don't think that India, now we are into Kalikalam. Kalikalam Pradhamapadam. That is what when you go to temple they will chant Kalikale Pradhamapade. Kalikalam is how many years? 4,32,000 years, right? And before that we had Dwapara Yugam.
5,000 years.
Huh?
Almost 5,000 years.
Yeah, 5,000. It was 3,128 July 17 when it started. Mahabharata war was 3067 November 22nd. Okay, so July 27th was the time when the Kalikala ended. So maybe you can compute exact dates. So this is 4,32,000 years. 2 times of Kalikala is Dwapara. So it becomes 8,64,000. And 3 times of Kalikala is
Veda.
Treta Yuga. So 2 times Dwapara Yugam, 3 times
Veda.
Treta Yugam, 4 times Satya Yugam. So 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, that becomes 10. So 10 times of Kali Yuga is 1 half day for Brahma. So multiply by 2, multiply by 365, multiply by 120 years of Purusha. That is 1 Manvantara. And we have crossed almost 198 crores of years, 27.5 Manvantara. That's why we say Saptamada Manvantari. So if that time what was there is not Hinduism at all. There is no Hindu word, there is no Hinduism. We all had only nature. Even in Satya Yuga, we had only nature. When Treta, we don't know in earlier Manvantara how it was. We know only about this Manvantara. In this Manvantara, it would have gone into a cycle. That's what people say. So this Manvantara, Treta Yuga, Rama started doing puja to Shiva. And there was no temple. There was only temporary temple. There was yaga. There was yatna. Temporary, you keep a shed, start keeping the fire, do pujas. And soon after that, the whole building will be, that will all shed only. With rooftop, with leaf, probably to protect sun and rain. Fire the whole thing. That means nothing should exist after that. I am sure people did not settle anywhere. People started moving. So there is no point of having a temple in some place. You keep moving, right? That could be one of the reasons. But it is only in Dwapara Yuga some temples came. Kali Yuga, we started settling in places. And the density of population is so much, you don't have too much place to wander around. And you wanted to establish. We became selfish. We wanted to stay somewhere, create our own society. Therefore, that when other people called it as religion, Hindu, Muslim, Jain, Buddha and all that, they called it is Hinduism. Otherwise, tell me, in whole Bhagavad Gita, is there a word called Hindu? In the whole Veda, Upanishad, you cannot see a word called Hindu. So, somebody started calling themselves, and there is an unclassified class. Probably that unclassified class, by birth what you can become, because your parents were Sanatana Dharma believers, they called us as Hindus. So we always believed in Sanatana Dharma. Do good things for somebody else. Serve somebody else. Don't keep a lot of selfishness in you. Start giving to everybody. That's a great belief or system which we had. The Rigveda and all, there is a small mantra while you are feeding your own child. Shamno Dipade, Chadushpade, when everybody has got their food, 2-legged animals or 4-legged animal, have a sufficient food. That day my son also can have my food. That's what the chanting says. So Sanatana Dharma, that human nature, social nature, there are two things. Being human is human being. Being social is social being. So this human and social ability is the basic principle of Sanatana Dharma. And somebody is creating trouble, Sanatana Dharma says finish him off. I am sure that was our tradition. We have only stories from Ramayana because mythology starts with Ramayana. Then Mahabharata. If they are the mythology, Puranas, I am sure from there, if that we call it as Vedic period, because before that we don't know how the life was. So we have only references like Ramayana in Treta Yuga, Mahabharata in Dwapara Yuga. I am sure Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga what happened, probably Kaligala is much better than Treta Yuga to live. Got it? We will see Rama probably not listening to his father. But Krishna had an uncle who was not listening to him. The demand became different. So that you can see even today. So we have justifications for doing, not doing. Earlier I told you can quote everything from the Puranas. So Sanatana Dharma gives almost same without a dilution. That's what I believe. Good enough? Vishnu, you have any more? Vishnu initiated the whole process. Yeah. What was that?
There were multiverse theory and Swarga Naraga concept.
Which one?
Narga, Naraka.
And Swarga Naraga.
Yeah. That's the hell and see, it is a beautiful concept which is in Bharatiya Shastram, which is entirely different from some other religion. It is not that you believe only my religion, start spreading, you will get a Surga in which you will have thousands of wives, therefore you must kill all the other religious people. If you don't do this, if you don't believe in me, you will go to Naraka. Such belief is not there. Here it says, you have to be human, you have to be social. If you do that, you can be peaceful. Where you can be peaceful? Assume today I do a big mistake, tomorrow will I have a peace of mind? Today is Wednesday. I am doing a big harm to somebody else who is my neighbor or who was my relative. Not even neighbor or relative, some fellow on the road who was not known to me. Do I think tomorrow I will have a peaceful, or today night I will get a peaceful sleep? If you are a human, you are a social, you will not get.
Yes.
So where is Naraka and Surga?
Within us.
It is within us. So what we do now have an immediate effect. How many janmas we have? 7 days. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 7 days. 7 janma. So what you do in one janma will go to next janma. After 7 days it will come into repetition again. I keep saying, evening you can peacefully sleep on a day. That day you are in Surga.
Oh.
If you don't get to sleep today and you are a human being, not an asura, you are not too much rajasic, you are not too much. There are 3 versions, right? Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. What will happen to tamasic people? They will forget everything because their brain is useless. Or they will get not spirituality, they get a lot of spirit, evening, full drunk. So they will forget everything. 2 ways of forgetting things. One is spirituality, another one is spirit. So tamasic people will have full dose. So they will forget everything. There is no tomorrow for them. Only today. Moment only. But that is ignorance. That is foolishness. Second one, rajasic. Those people, even if you chop everybody, no problem. Because that's a daily routine. We are talking about sattvic people. Close to godly. More pure. More human. More sattvic. More social. More sattvic. If these combinations you don't get sleep night, that day you are in Naraka. That night also you are in Naraka. What will happen to next day? Next day again you are in Naraka. Because yesterday's thoughts will haunt you. So therefore we said don't do anything bad. If you do prayashchittam for that. What is the prayashchittam? If I done something wrong to Vishnu, tomorrow morning talk to him, then somehow console, saying that no, my samasta aparadham, please forgive me. For which I will have to roll somewhere. I will have to show that I am nothing in this world. What makes you to overpower your ego? So surrender your ego. That is why when we go to temple, immediately they will tell you, you are nothing in this world. Don't keep ego. Because in the whole universe, Brahmandana Madhya, they will start from the whole Brahmanda. You are in Meroha Dakshine Parshve, Godavari Parshve, in this small village, in the small quarters, in one room, small place, where 198 crores of years, millions of people stayed, and you are only a small ant here. When they tell you that, you must realize I am nothing. Right? And give everything. Vairagya siddhyartham samarpayami. Give it without thinking that it is mine. It is not mine. It is not mine. It is not mine. Keep on telling. Whatever I am giving you now in terms of little knowledge is not mine. It is all my gurus have given. Somewhere I have written down the notes. That notes is what I am referring whenever I want to talk. That's it. So it's not mine. It's not mine. It's not mine. Keep that in mind and speak, then you will have no ego.
Sir, once my son asked this question on Yahoo questions, like Vishnu asked, he asked, do Hindus believe in heaven or hell? In hell, he asked this question. So he waited so many days, and then one person came and said, yes, the married ones do.
Now I keep saying, see, most of the questions you can ask to God, He will tell you one moment I will give you answer. His one moment is many Purushas for us.
True, yeah.
Time scale is different. So that is why we want immediate answer from God. But God has got a different time. We have got a different time. It doesn't match. That is why you need many janmas to get an answer for whatever you have done now. Because he has to turn back. That turning back is hundreds of janma for us. Okay, and what for you are doing gives you. See, Mahabharata war was over. Dharmaputra is supposed to become the king. Then immediately Charvaka comes and tells him, how can you justify and call yourself as Dharmaputra? Because you are the reason for killing many of your relatives. Your own grandfather, your own teacher. So you are not a wise person. You cannot be called as Dharmaputra. Immediately Dharmaputra got a doubt. Is it true? Whatever Charvaka is like a Rishi. Charvaka Maharshi means it is the greatest knowledgeable person. So he says, yes, what you are telling is correct. So how do I rectify myself? How do I get rid of this papa? So it was told, I can do penance. One janma I will do total tapas. Will I be cleared of my papas? Immediately he said, go and refer to Krishna. You know what Krishna said? One janma if you do tapas, you cannot clear. 100 janmas do, you cannot clear your papa. You are really a papi. Who says this? The person who persuaded to do the war, that is Lord Krishna himself, God himself says, Dharmaputra, what you have done is wrong. Then he asked, how can you say this? You are the person who asked. See, I only tell, if you want to run away and do penance, your papa will not be cleared. But if you rule the country, then the papa is not there. What does it mean? Assume that as a person I run away from my responsibility, that is a papa. But if I do rule the country, the fighting of the war was to give a good kingdom for the society. Whatever you have done is justified. So your action is justified with the result what comes out of it. You can do as a king the best thing what you can do for the people, because the whole war was for the people to get rid of the bad king, and you are the wise king. Then it is justified. But if you run away from this responsibility and do tapas, that means you have not done the whole job as a king. You are done as an individual. A police beating somebody as a police is justified. In the border, Indian soldier killing a neighbor's soldier is justified because he is in that position. But same killing, if he does somewhere else for some other purpose, it is not justified. As an advocate, I go to the court and then argue all wrong things I can present. It is justified. But don't come back home and then argue with wrong. No, a chartered accountant can manipulate the accounts to help his honor. But don't do mischief to his honor. A surgeon can cut somebody's body. But only when there is a disease, don't cut it just like that. For the purpose justifies your action. So your naraka, your surga, it is not what you do, what for you do, when do you do, to whom you are doing, in front of whom you are doing, that also matters. How do you do it, that also matters. So where, when, why, how, what justifies your action, and when you do good action, you can justify it by yourself for your peace of mind. That is your surga. And if you don't, you are in naraka. Good enough? So we'll come back with some other subject on some other day. Anybody wants to make any few comments, questions, we'll take it up next time. Good enough?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
Sir?
Thanks a lot. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I would take
Raymond sir, namaste. Chandrasekhar.
I want to calculate the time.
Okay, good. എങ്ങനെയുണ്ട് കോഴിക്കോട് മഴയുണ്ടോ? Is it raining?
Yesterday I tried, I could not join you. I don't know why.
Yesterday we didn't had. Last time. Okay, that was I think we had Ajay talking on grievance.
That is.
Yeah.
After that, I left for some time. Then I came back, but I could not.
We finished by we are doing it 1 hour, almost 1 hour only, I think. It's already posted on YouTube. It's there.
There in the YouTube.
Yeah, it's there on YouTube.
Today I was listening one of your radio interview.
Asianet Radio.
I wish with
Rajiv Kodambally or Ramesh Payanur?
Payanur fellow.
Yeah, Ramesh Payanur.
Ramesh Payanur.
He was my plus 1 plus 2 classmate. He was media head of Asianet Radio in Dubai. Now he shifted to Radio Asia.
Okay.
That's in Ras Al Khaimah, Gulf Fund.
When was that program actually?
There are many. Most of the time, either Earth Day or Environment Day, so many things. He keeps sending one message. I will record it and send it to him. That's it. Whenever he don't get somebody, he will ask me to record and send it. So I am a common guest for him on many activities. Onam also there was something, I think. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Actually, there's one phrase, no, it was very attractive. Through your presence, then only you feel your absence.
Yeah, if sometime attending a marriage, people will not notice you. If you don't attend, people will ask you, where is that fellow?
It's meaningful. That
Absence makes your presence. Somebody is alive, people don't understand the value. After dying, they will keep sending message. Yeah, he was a good man. That's it. Harsha is listening. Harsha is typing. Yeah, I am seeing what you are typing. But what you should do is go to YouTube and type all that, because I missed this on record. So you are preparing well for your group 2.
Sir, yeah, sir.
All the best.
Now I am learning. Thank you, sir. Now I am learning arithmetic, sir.
Very good, very good.
Arithmetic.
Arithmetic, you have to be fast.
Sir?
You have to be fast. That is what is required.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You must learn the trick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But forgetting some tricks, sir.
No, but what you should do is keep working on different question paper. That will give you fast solution.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any reservation for Sri Harsha on the arithmetic speed and all?
Hello.
Harsha, is there a reservation for you because of your visual problem?
Yes, sir. Reservation is there, sir.
Okay.
Based on handicap.
No, but then instead of 3 hours, will you get 4 hours?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Somebody will help you to read that question for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Friday is there.
Good.
If I had offer.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
They used to get right to also.
Yeah, good. Thank you. God bless you, beta.
Thank you very much, sir.
Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.